Tonight on News 5 Live, borders to reopen, but will you need a COVID test? Murder at Honey Camp, body found at sea. And sugarcane farmers worry about cane being left in the fields this season. Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
It's a fact that your credit lasts longer when using Smart. During these times, we're all trying to find ways to cut costs and save the little resources we have. With Smart, it's easy to do that. It's a fact that with Smart, your credit lasts longer. You can call Smart to Smart and Smart to Digi using your promo credit, while with the other guy, you can only call OnNet, Digi, or BTL numbers. What does this mean? You get to call any national number using your promo credit. Your promo credit is free, so that call is also free. Know your facts. Don't be tricked by the other guy. Be smart and save your dollars.
Christmas. With the busyness that the season brings, take a moment to slow down and get a different perspective on the reason for the season. Celebrate Christmas with Sagebrush Church, December 26th at 10 a.m. right here on Belize Channel 5. Or visit sagebrush.church for service times and locations.
Season's greetings from all of us at Atlantic Insurance. We know this year has been particularly difficult for us all, but while many see reasons to lose hope, we are constantly finding reasons to hold on tighter. Let's continue to cherish and give thanks for the things that matter most in our lives, and know that we will get through this together. Thank you for your loyalty throughout the year, and we remain committed to serving and protecting you with excellence and understanding. May the true meaning of the holiday season fill your hearts and home with love, peace, and joy. This holiday season, respect the rules of the road. Drive safely. Don't speed. Don't drink and drive. Arrive safe and alive. Wishing you a Merry Christmas and a new year of hope, health, and happiness.
It's almost lunchtime and Alice is getting hungry and forgot to bring cash. She remembers that eCash now has a geolocation feature in which she can easily view the eCash merchants near her, especially restaurants. Her co-workers also ask her to order food for them.
Chicken chow mein, please, and a Coke.
The merchant sends her the payment link. She taps confirm, and within a few minutes, her food is delivered. Alice then views her transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made. Then taps the split the bill button where she selects the unevenly option and moves the bar to the desired amount per person. The request is then sent to her friends. Her colleagues accept the request and are ready to enjoy their meals. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash make Alice's life a whole lot easier.
My vision for the future of energy in Belize. In light of the devastating climate change our world is facing, the nation of Belize has opportunities to use entirely green energy. Self-sustainability will lower the cost of electricity and lessen the number of power outages across the country. The idea of a zero carbon footprint, self-sustainable country, Belize would enjoy a more advanced electrical infrastructure that would be capable of supporting more advanced technology, such as electric vehicles. I decided to take part in it because I feel like it would be a good way to improve my writing skills. It's something that I've been improving over the years. So I did about 3 essays before I actually came onto this final one. I found some interesting facts about Belize along the way. I definitely was going beyond my vocabulary. I was searching throughout my vocabulary to find the right words to phrase myself and what was in my head, what I was thinking. So when I found out that I won, yeah, I was definitely surprised, but I was happy at the same time.
When we heard the news that Leonardo won the competition, we were very excited for him. Extremely proud. He worked hard on that essay. So we're very thankful to BEL for creating this competition as an opportunity for young people to engage in something related to their academics.
It's a very nice thing. I'd like to thank BEL for doing this because it's a great opportunity to let kids express themselves, or students just express themselves through essays, I'd say.
newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Thursday, December 16th. I am Sabrina Daly. Today, Minister of Tourism and Diaspora Relations Anthony Moller responded to a myriad of questions, beginning with the cabinet decision to reopen land borders on January 1st. Minister Moller breaks down the protocols being put in place for Belizeans traveling to and from Mexico and Guatemala.
In Cabinet, we decided that once you're going for less than 24 hours, you don't have to test coming back in. But we're looking at seriously having people who are fully vaccinated, only people who are fully vaccinated and go in and out. No? There's always going to be some risk dealing with COVID or any other virus that we'll be confronted in the future. We're trying our best to have the borders open for Belizeans as well. As you know, in the middle of this year, we opened for tourism flow. And so we think now it's high time for us to open it up to Belizeans, just like we did for the airport. From a tourism standpoint first, the borders have been open for tourist traffic since June or July. But there are some measures that were in place that made it onerous for them to come back and forth. We believe that just by the nature of the industry, in terms of the time this is a peak season, we believe that we are going to see a lot more flows inbound and outbound. That's where border management makes most of the money for those people going outbound. And in terms of locals, we just can't keep locked down forever. As long as we put in the protocols, the processes in place to have a safe back and forth across the border, we believe so. We did so with the free zone, and that has been successful. And so we believe that we can replicate that.
Back in mid-October, Prime Minister John Briceño appeared on Channel 5's Open Your Eyes, telling the host that if the COVID-19 numbers continued on a downward trend, that the curfew hours would be pushed back. But more importantly, for many waiting to go back to Mexico and Guatemala, the land borders might be reopening in January. This week, Cabinet announced that they would in fact open January 1st, showing those projections were on target.
By the end of the year, then we expect to then to open the borders for land borders for people that are fully vaccinated. But we know that once you go across for more than 72 hours, then you'd have to take a rapid test when you're coming back.
As per the booster coming back into the country. Yes. This is interesting. So, but of course, as you're saying, I hear very clearly, this is
based on the positivity that it's going down.
10% by the end of this month, 5% at the end of November.
About 5%, yes.
So that
and those are the projections from the Ministry of Health.
As we reported on Wednesday, Belize has been named as a top tourist destination in the Latin America and Caribbean region for 2021. Minister of Tourism Anthony Moller today gave a forecast for tourism numbers moving forward.
We believe with the additional flights that we have coming in, we believe that the efforts that we've been putting in marketing and with our partners, our international partners and the airlines and with cruise, we believe that we're going to have a solid year. Now, anything can happen if a new variant pops up and it's as aggressive as the Omicron or the Delta, then we can have some issues. But we believe that people on a whole now understand how to move, how to travel, how to operate in this COVID, this new norm. And so we believe that in 2022, we should see an uptick in tourism and we should be a little better off than we were in 2021.
Among those plans is seeing Belize become a hub for regional airline carriers. Minister Moller explains what that process is looking like and the need for reducing taxes for regional travelers from Central America.
We believe that we can have Belize as I don't want to use hub, but we can attract more flights from Central America and from Mexico. And so what Honduras has done is call it the C4, They have created a tax regime for flights originating out of 4 countries in Central America, specifically. Now, the Mexican carriers have told us that with between $55 and $68 for departure fees and taxes, they would not be able to come to Belize and generate a profit. So 0 from 0 is 0. So we have none coming in at the moment. We believe that we could create routes from all across Central America, not only Mexico. And so we have cabinet approved that I go back, talk to all the agencies, so BAC, Belize Airport Concession Company, PACT, and Airport Authority on how we can reduce the fees to attract more Mexican and regional carriers.
Coming up, police investigating a murder at Honey Camp and are seeking assistance from Mexico to find 2 Belizeans on the run for another crime. Details when we return.
That'll be $50. Thank you. Wait, hey, this 50 is a fake.
Well, how do you know it's a fake?
What are you talking about, sir? How can I identify a genuine note from a fake note?
Well, a genuine 50 has a watermark with the Jaguar and the written words of the 50, also a thread.
Know your money and know a fake one when you see it. Do not rely on any one security feature. Look for the clarity and quality of printing. The printed lines and colors should be sharp and clear. Feel the quality of the paper and the raised print. Hold the note up to the light to see the windowed security thread. It should form one complete line when held up to the light. The watermark and denominational electrotype. The Jaguar is the watermark in the $100 and $50 notes. The Sleeping Giant is the watermark in the $20, $10, $5, and $2 notes. The see-through feature. The parts of the design printed on the back should fit exactly within the unprinted areas of the front to form the complete design. Check the $100 note for the toucan hologram with the periwinkle flower overprint. Tilt it to see the small images of the toucan and the numeral 100. Check the $50 note for the green foil angelfish. Check even closer. Use an ultraviolet light to see the fluorescent features. Use a magnifier to see the microlettering. Tiny letters that read Central Bank of Belize and the value of the note. Stop the circulation of counterfeit Belize currency notes. Pass all counterfeits to the police at once. It is a criminal offense to hold or use a counterfeit. Be safe, be sure, know your money.
Digi is spreading love with over $25,000 in cash and prize giveaways this Christmas. Shop with Digi this season for the best prices and unbeatable deals, plus a chance to win $10,000 cash. Yes, $10,000 cash. To add to the excitement, you get a chance to win a 50-inch Samsung TV and more cash prizes with our Zone giveaways. More reasons to shop with Digi. Prepaid mobile and DigiNet customers, you get even more chances to win with an automatic entry for every $10 primary credit used. Postpaid customers, ensure that your account is current. And you also get an automatic entry for every $10 paid. So many chances to win. Visit our website at livedigi.com/Christmas deals or follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more details. Join us on Facebook for the live drawings on December 23rd. Bring back the real Belizean Christmas with Digi. Season's greetings from our national telecom.
This holiday season, simplify your shopping list and gift a Samsung Galaxy. Whether you're looking for a device for your bestie or your in-law, there is a Galaxy for everyone on your list. Enjoy the affordable awesomeness that the A-Series lineup offers and get 1-year local warranty only when you purchase from authorized Samsung resellers. Get a chance to win up to $10,000 in prizes when you shop any Galaxy A-Series phones or tablets this Christmas. Capture the laughter, share the joy, gift the Galaxy, and make it a Samsung Christmas.
My name is Kim. I'm 36 years old. I'm raising a 6-year-old daughter, and I'm living with HIV. My greatest priority is to raise my daughter and be here for as long as I can with her. Well, it was around 2009. The moment I found out, when the nurse told me, I was shocked. It was hard at first to just hear that news. It was like somebody just took a ton of bricks and just dropped it on you, and you're like trying to figure out, how am I going to deal with this? Being HIV positive, I have experienced a lot of discrimination. I decided to be open about my status because I want to show other people that, you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to hide behind who you really are because of a disease. My belief is that if somebody is going to want to be around you and love you, they're going to love you for who you are. It's very important for a person who's HIV positive to stay on their medication. Like I said, I tested positive 2009. So literally it's going to be 13 years since I'm living with HIV. And out of that 13 years, it's like almost 11 to 12 years since I've been undetectable. It is important for people living with HIV to get screened for other diseases because in 2019, I was also diagnosed with HPV. My mom, she died from cervical cancer. With my medical condition, I decided that I would ask the doctor what would be best for me. And he said that, eventually it could lead to cervical cancer, and I did not want that because I already have one medical condition. And so I decided that I would do a hysterectomy. I'm very concerned about COVID. I made the decision to get vaccinated because I know it's a better form of protection for persons like myself. At first, I did not want to do it, I'm going to be honest. But I'm the type of person I like to read, I just don't go by what people say. I came to the conclusion that it's a form of protection, like I said, for persons like myself, so that's why I decided to do it. I would want people to know that people like myself that is living with HIV, we are normal people just like you guys. Don't just look at us like, oh, they're HIV positive. Look at us that we're all human beings and we deserve affection and love and good treatment like everybody else.
A shopkeeper was killed on Wednesday night in the Honeycamp area of the Orange Walk district. Police believe that they have gathered credible information that would lead them to Angel Gongara's killer. According to ASP Fitzroy Yearwood, while a motive has not been established as yet, robbery has been ruled out.
Coordinate police went out to that scene sometime after 9 last night. When they got on the scene, the lifeless body of Angel Gongara was on the floor in a pool of blood with several stab wounds all over the body. The scene was processed. He was transported to the Northern Regional Hospital where he was pronounced dead by a medical officer. I know that our officers were out there for a while canvassing that area, and they received information that we believe is useful in that investigation for us to probably lead to an apprehension and hopefully an arrest.
It's the second murder in that area for the year, I believe. Is there any indication at this point that that particular area needs a heavier police presence?
Well,
The police presence is a must at all times, and we are always in the need for more police, and hence why we have our recent recruitment. But to be very honest with you, in the Honey Camp area, it's like everybody knows everybody, and people live in that area in a more nonchalant type of fashion. So for us to ramp up the policing, it could also create aggravation. So we cannot treat 2 murders in about maybe 6 months as most, it's densening. No, we cannot say that. And of course, in this particular case, we believe that the information that investigators are gathering so far, we could have an arrest rather sooner than later.
Sir, the nature of this crime suggests that the victim knew his attacker. Is there anyone close to him that the police are looking at or have detained and questioned at this time?
Well, Erson, like I said, we have certain useful information. I wouldn't want to put it out there. So, but of course, from the moment I mentioned to you that we believe that this information could lead to an arrest, we believe that investigators have a grip on it already.
Police have confirmed that a San Pedro man, Alberto Callis, was killed last weekend over a dispute involving a bicycle. But there were also other factors at play. The carpenter and football player was shot dead as he was heading home. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams told the media on Wednesday that Callis was not the only target, but paid with his life.
We gather it over a stolen bike, and the issue as it relates to a person getting fired from his work, and apparently he took it against the persons we believe were a party to his dismissal.
Police have charged 18-year-old Julio Pais for Callis' murder. Police are collaborating with their Mexican counterparts for the return of 2 brothers who are wanted for the murder of their uncle. Enrique and Shamir Tayul are suspected of the murder of Eugene Tayul in San Antonio Village, Orange Walk, on Sunday night. Police believe that after the brothers killed their uncle in an open field, they absconded to Mexico. On Wednesday, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams told reporters that police have contacted Mexican police to try to get the 2 brothers back to Belize to face the charge. Today, news spread like wildfire that a body had been discovered at sea about 5 miles from the coast of Belize City, where cruise ships would normally moor their vessels. In the first instance, the report was that the person was a tourist. But as the media would confirm earlier today, the body was that of a Belizean man, whose identity remains unknown at this time. Sources tell News 5 that there were no signs of violence on the body to suggest foul play, and that the person is of Hispanic or Maya descent. Here's what we know so far.
We only just on our way here, we were informed that another body was being recovered from the waters in Belize. We cannot confirm at this moment what's the identity or what's the nature of that body, or even if it's male or female at this time. But I can tell you that as soon as we have confirmation, then we will do an official release on that.
I've been back and forth with Port and other agencies from early this morning. My people have been briefing me up to the minute, and it has been established that the body that was found is a Belizean man, and not somebody off of the cruise ship. There was some delay in terms of disembarkation of the cruise ship's passengers, but that has, they're on their way now for their tours and stuff like that.
The body of the unidentified man was transported to Belize National Forensics Science Service morgue, where it is awaiting a post-mortem examination. A pair of senior citizens is the latest victims of a home invasion. On Tuesday night, they were at their home at mile 15 on the Philip Golson Highway when burglars entered. The perpetrators were described as being dressed in camouflage law enforcement clothing. Today, Police Communications Director Yearwood shared details with the media.
They said what appeared to be a police uniform, and 2 dressed in camouflage, 1 in civilian clothing. I think even a short pants, to be exact. But we take these type of attacks very seriously, And while you in the media like to use home invasion, we in Belize, we call it aggravated burglary. We treat every report seriously, and our investigators did a thorough job on that scene. We know that they indicated to us that the assailants may have headed from the direction of Sand Hill towards Ladyville and probably even in Belize City. So we are trying to find out who are the orchestrators of these crimes. We know that, yes, it's an elderly couple. They are shaken up. And we wouldn't want to aggravate or, how to say, frighten members of that community as to believe that this is a norm. We have rampant our patrols. We have put in place other means that we believe would help us to see if this is just an isolated situation, and if not, we would then try to target anybody that would come up on our radar that would fit this kind of modus operandi, you know?
On Monday, a video was posted on social media of a uniformed policeman being led into a police station by his fellow police colleagues, suggesting that the officer was under the influence of alcohol. The Commissioner of Police, Chester Williams, learned of the matter and told the media on Wednesday that essentially the officer's fate hangs in the balance.
I did start a video, and again, I must say that it's somewhat embarrassing. The police officer in question, I know the public will say that we need to do more for our officers and this, that, and terror. But the truth is, we're all big men and women. Once we join this department, it's because we are of age. We are considered an adult. And the particular police officer in question, we have bent backwards like an invertebrate to accommodate him, even to the extent of sending him to rehabilitation. And I was shocked to see that despite all the efforts that we have done, that he's still like this. I'm not going to say much because the matter will go before a tribunal, and I don't want what I have to say affect the outcome of that tribunal. But I am going to yield at the end of the day to the decision of the adjudicator who will hear that matter. We have a counseling program through the EPA, the Employee Assistance Program that comes through the Ministry of Public Service. In addition to that, recently we had Ms. Ann Hoovers donated her time freely to come in, and we gather a number of police officers who we believe are going through some stressful situation and may require some degree of counseling and so forth. And she had sessions with our officers across the country, free of cost. And that police officer was also a part of those sessions. In addition to that, when police officers need to go to rehabilitation, we would facilitate them the time with full pay to go through rehabilitation. But there's only so much we can do. They themselves need to do their part to ensure that they recover in a way that they'll not regress to where they used to be.
After the break, things did not go exactly according to plan during a retreat in the Pine Ridge. Find out why the weather was not the only disappointment. But first, here's a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
Christmas Belize. And to make it merrier, Brothers Habet and Habet have some great gifts for you. Like 15% off all decorative paints. That's Penta, Domestic, Judge Boy, Berger, and Valspar. 15% off all power tools from top brands like Stanley, Black & Decker, DeWalt, Skill, and Bosch. 15% off Simpson generators and pressure washers. And 15% off Sunlight windows and doors. Plus, check out our clearance section with lots of good stuff, from 30 to 60% off. And of course, we're giving away $500 gift certificates to 12 lucky customers every day for our annual 12 Days of Christmas giveaway. every $50 you spend gets you a chance to win. The merriest place to be this Christmas is Brothers Habet and Habet and Habet. So stop in today to pick up your gifts and fix up the place.
We remain committed to providing safe, reliable, and sustainable energy solutions for communities across Belize. As part of BEL's Rural Electrification Program to expand our service to remote communities, we have been visiting and consulting with residents and leaders in remote and developing communities in southern Belize. We are also collaborating with partners in the energy sector to determine innovative energy solutions for these communities that take into consideration their unique needs and distance from the grid. Belize Electricity Limited is committed to providing safe, reliable, and sustainable energy solutions for communities across Belize.
Sometimes it's easy to forget. So here's a reminder why we all need to get vaccinated. COVID-19 has rapidly become one of the most contagious and potentially deadly diseases in history. Oh, and as we adjusted to it, it mutated. And now we have variants like the Delta that are somehow even more contagious and deadly. We know how this thing spreads and how to stop it. We have to take the proper health precautions all the time and make sure that you and everybody you know gets vaccinated. Vaccines save lives and greatly reduce the risk of hospitalization and death. Get the facts, then get vaccinated.
Improving lives, delivering quality. Water for you and me. In Belize, BWS, we make it happen.
For the immediate future, our entire country's focus is to ensure that each of us take adequate measures to mitigate against the COVID-19 pandemic. We all need to ensure frequent hand washing or sanitizing, regular disinfection of surfaces, constant social distancing, and a sufficient supply of sanitizing and cleansing material. At this critical time, a reliable supply of clean potable water is of utmost importance to ensure our health and peace of mind. Water is therefore a vital necessity to help us remain free from illness and ultimately to help Belize's economic recovery. Help us to help you by paying your water bill. Our return to a healthy and vibrant economy depends on you.
Belize Water Services, delivering water and more.
We have been a partner with Smart for over 10 plus years. We have a full Smart plan we use as our major driver for our business. We have a service that rolls over in that if you call one and it is busy, it rolls over to the next line. So once you call us, you can get us at any time. Before we got this Smart service, we were paying upwards of nearly $2,000 in phone bills. Since we've had our Smart service, we pay an average of about $600. So we've had tremendous saving, more than 50%. For the businesses, if you want to save money, switch to Smart because it is far more cost effective and the service is excellent.
Smart continues to be innovative in bringing new technology and meaningful savings during these challenging times to businesses across Belize. Sign up for our VoIP technology or broadband packages and save more.
The COVID vaccines that we have available are very effective and safe. And it is very important for elderly persons and frontline health workers and other frontline workers to get it, because these vaccines protect you from becoming ill if you get COVID.
As COVID-19 vaccines are approved for use in the general population, monitoring for safety continues. Each COVID-19 vaccine goes through the same clinical trials and rigorous study as with all other vaccines, with the focus on safety and efficacy.
Nothing goes into the nucleus, nothing affects the genetic code of the human It is a very safe vaccine. This is a vaccine that we all need to take because it will keep us safe.
Vaccines bring us closer.
"43 young men from various neighborhoods across Belize City traveled to Camp de Silva on Monday to attend a 4-day retreat organized by the Ministries of Home Affairs and Youth and Sports. The period of seclusion succeeds various activities that are aimed at getting them involved in meaningful pursuits. It was also an opportunity for them to discuss some of the deep-seated issues affecting them in their respective communities. While the retreat was fruitful, things took a downward turn on Wednesday when food supplies that were destined for the remote military installation did not arrive as scheduled. That's because the vehicles that were transporting the rations to the distant location in Mountain Pine Ridge got bogged and were stuck in place for several hours. To make matters worse, the organizers who were instrumental in facilitating the sessions were also absent for the same period of time because they were the ones carrying the food items. When we got to Camp de Silva today, we were met by a group of hungry men who just wanted to get out of the wilderness and make it back to their homes in the city. Brandon Baptist, a resident of Police Street, was among the men at the Army base.
I'm excited, happy for me to come Monday, come for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to the Thursday now, but we want to go home. But it be nice though, it be nice, but we want to go home, really want to go home. I get a sense.
What were some of the things that you guys discussed? I know you're far away from the city, the streets and everything, which would have given you guys time to really reflect and look back on some of the issues that are affecting you young men. What were some of those discussions like?
Also discussion for us be humble, how for, well, business-wise, understand me how to greet people, you know, different things, check. Really different things, but it be nice to me. Alright, check on a problem, see away, but you know, we get frustrated a little bit here because due to the things never set up the way it's supposed to set up, you know. We never got it the right way then, I get a sense. We come up there, we kind of lost because we don't know what to do, you know, but it's alright still, check.
Now, what is the plan going back to Belize City? You guys have had a few days to really focus on what happens next. You go back to your neighborhood in Police Street. Some of these guys go back to their own neighborhood in the city. What's next for you?
We're going home, we're going to continue work. We're going home, we're going to continue cut the bush and thing, you know, continue do for we community, clean for we community, man. Now we are continue do.
The University of Belize also facilitated the retreat by providing a team of counselors to stimulate the sensitive conversations that would eventually lead to healing. Despite the logistical nightmare that ensued, Fermin Oliveira is grateful that the attendance showed that there is a willingness on the part of these young men to begin the discussion.
Our responsibility really was to facilitate some therapeutic sessions during this camp experience, and I can say that we did most of the sessions planned. There were some little logistical situations, you know, but we are very happy to be able to join in this initiative. Very grateful that the guys did come out. Clearly, as an operation like this, there's little room for improvement, and we hope we can improve on that.
In terms of discussing with these young men and listening to what some of their root issues are in their respective communities, what was that like, and perhaps what were some of the recurrent themes that came up in these conversations?
Well, it is no secret. These guys have had, you know, varying life experiences, as is expected. The group sessions that we did at this point was not at that level to know too much into their personal lives. It was more about presenting them with ideas to talk about, to let them see a little bit about their identity, culture, a little bit about society and how all these things interplay. So it was a little bit different from the therapeutic scheme That we're hoping would happen after the camp in the next upcoming weeks.
Acting Director of the Department of Youth Services, Kevin Cadle, explained the challenges that resulted in the chaos at Camp De Silva on Wednesday. According to Cadle, he and another organizer got stuck on the Mountain Pine Ridge Road when their vehicles got bogged in the muck from overnight rains. Notwithstanding the unfortunate experience, he says that the effort towards brokering peace among these at-risk youth continues.
Everything was going pretty smooth, and we had our plan in effect. Like I said, it's a multi-sectoral approach, and all plans were being effected. However, around Wednesday, the first thing that happened was the inclemental weather, and based on the weather, the first thing during a period of time is that the vehicle that I was traveling in could not have made it back to De Silva. From San Ignacio Town to De Silva, I realized that based on the works that were being done on the road, the vehicle could not have made it back based on the type of terrain. And so I was stuck on the road for about 5 to 6 hours. I got an opportunity to get back in town, and so I tried to coordinate from in town to send up our ration. We could not have sent up all of the ration that we had because of the fact that we did not want stuff to spoil on us and so forth. No? Later on that particular day, on Wednesday, we had another setback whereby one of the camp directors going forward, he had the same similar situation like me, which was even worse, whereas he came off the road and was in a ditch from about 10 o'clock at night until 5 o'clock in the morning. So we had to look at mitigation and plan all over in terms of what we were going to do. And so Rashan was not with the guys for about 24 hours or so. Along with Mr. Chester Williams and General Ortega, we planned on how we would have been able to get food to the guys after all the circumstances that was taking place. Because Mr. William Dawson, myself, and 2 of our drivers could not have made it back to De Silva with the food supply that was supposed to go back there, no? And so 2 of us, Mr. Dawson and myself, were unable to be there, and I think that is where a little bit of where the friction started, where the young men felt that we were not around, no? And so that was the situation. 42 of the 15 young men that were supposed to go to the camp had actually participated, and they were doing pretty well up until the time I left there, which was on Wednesday. We are not going to stop. The weather is not going to stop us. The thing is that we're on a roll, and we will continue to do what we want to do. We know that if we continue doing what we're doing, our country will be able to have peace. We want peace. We're pushing for peace. I know the young men want peace as well.
A donation of $8,000 has been made to the Young Women's Christian Association by the Lifeline Foundation. For over 65 years, YWCA has been instrumental in assisting with the vocational and academic development of young girls, later expanding its services to provide daycare and early childhood education. When the COVID-19 pandemic arrived in 2020, the Y took a severe financial hit, prompting its closure. Recognizing the financial hardship that has since plagued the organization, Lifeline has stepped up with a contribution that will go a long way in the YWCA reopening.
I have always been very impressed with the work that is done here. I have participated on numerous occasions with the Y, and so for us at Lifeline, it is indeed a pleasure to be here this morning. It is, it gives us great a great sense of gratitude, really, that we are able to help the Y to reopen its doors for 22 children who will be fully paid their air scholarship. And we also contributed, how many sewing machines? Three industrial sewing machines for the sewing program to restart and for us to get our young ladies back to the Y to start doing their crafts. So I just really want to take a moment to also hand over to Jackie, because like I said, she took the lead, and I would really want to give her a moment to say something.
It's a complete pleasure for us when we were able to see the need
of what the YWCA's needs were and how you have been compromised as a result of the pandemic. And I think for me and the rest of the Lifeline board, it was a matter of seeing that it wasn't just the children that were being compromised, it was entire families that were not able to get on with their daily lives because the preschool wasn't functioning the way it should do. So the decision was easy, and it's a pleasure. It's just a complete pleasure that we can contribute.
Just ahead, cane farmers gather in Orange Walk ahead of the start of the sugar season. But first, here's a weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Morning, B.
Ready for full layback?
Yes, man. Just grab the rope and I will put on the camera. My name is Josh Marin. I'm a commercial fisherman out of San Pedro, and I've been fishing my whole life. We've been noticing that each and every time we go out, we have to find further grounds. So when I heard about the program, I found it as a very good business opportunity. Other fishermen, when they go out, they tend to bring in everything and anything, and that's what me and my crew don't do. We practice responsible fishing.
Just show me how the app works, G.
Easy thing, bro. All we gotta do is we're gonna put in how much fish we catch right here. Today we get 15 pounds of champagne and 30 pounds of queens. We have punch that in, and that's all. Oh, one more thing.
Nestle. Start healthy, stay healthy.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benque Viejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Hey, have you gotten your Benny's dollars yet? If not, well, now is the time to do so. Why, you say? Because after December 31st, we will no longer be redeeming or issuing Benny's dollars. But don't worry, because in 2022, we will be celebrating our 75th anniversary. And we have new and exciting promotions, some great events and reward programs lined up just for you. Collect your Benny's dollars when you shop at any of our locations and redeem for cool gift items. And we have massive deals going on right now, so you can enjoy store-wide discounts. Remember to fill out the ticket portion for a chance to win the $10,000 grand prize on December 23rd. So stop in and shop to get your Benny's dollars and great deals only at Benny's.
Benny's, Benny's, oh, Benny's.
Bringing people together has always been SMART's mission and passion. That is why we are proud to have built a locally independent quality network from the ground up that spans the country with over 100 sites. We continue to add more affordable mobile data packages, broadband speeds, and voice services to meet your personal and business needs. SMART has set the standard of true competition with the most competitive prices on all services offered. We invite and welcome you to join the SMART family, where the value for your dollar matters. SMART will continue bringing new technologies, more affordable prices, network expansions, and people together. SMART, bringing people together.
The sugar crop season in northern Belize is set to begin on Monday, but the farmers are still at odds with the sugar mill. Even more concerning for sugarcane farmers at this time is the prospect that tens of thousands of tons of sugarcane could remain in the fields at the end of the season. The outlook is frightening because it could spell thousands of dollars in losses for farmers. News 5's Paul Lopez attended a press conference called by the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association in Orange Walk Town today.
Over 1.3 million tons of sugarcane currently sits in fields across northern Belize ready to be harvested. But sugarcane farmers are worried that the only sugar mill in their area does not have the capacity to process all this cane.
For many years that ESR has taken over BSI, they came in with a platform that since 2017, they came in 2012, 2013 they started, and they told us that for 5 years, they should increase the milling capacity of the mill or the production of sugar in the mill. And we have reached 2021, we are almost 2022, and nothing of that has happened. Now they came out with this, that they will be starting crop with 3,000, 3,500 for the next 5 weeks until they commission the other boiler to start working. What would happen? It will be a great sacrifice on the side of the farmers, the cane cutters, and the drivers.
As a consequence, some 100,000 tons of cane could potentially be left in the field at the end of the season in mid-July of 2022.
What make farmers worried because they have invested significantly in the cane fields, and they are not as how the crop is beginning. We don't have an assurance that we will be able to deliver all our cane. Because if you could remember, last year we began at the middle of January to the 28th of July, and we delivered among approximately 1.2 million tons. So now we have 1.3. And right now, as the crop will begin, this 3,000 and 3,500 will be for the next 4 weeks. So financially, it will affect the farmers because you will be spending more money and you will be making less.
Essentially, if it comes to this, a decision will have to be made as to which farmers' investment will be left in the field or how the losses will be divided. It is even more concerning because, as it turns out, farmers say they have been operating at a loss.
We as farmers have an average cost of production per ton of cane of $17 to $17.50 per ton, per each ton. That's producing ratoon cane. in producing plant cane, it would go a bit higher than the $17.50 for each ton. But then we have an average of $30 for the harvest, which is the cut, load, and transport. So that's already $47.50 per ton. Plus, we cover 65% of the 33.2 million that is deducted in the cost of exporting the sugar. So if you add the $17.50 in the field, you add the $30 in the harvest, and you add the $17, we need at least to be surviving, to be even $65 per ton. That's our cost of production. That's our reality. Last year it was 50. We ended with $54 and 56, right? $54.56. So that's why I say, yeah, and we invest $65 on it.
What farmers receive from the mill is influenced by global prices and market shares. But any discussion about increasing Belize's world market share will also include a discussion about possibly increasing production. Farmers are now saying they need an alternative to ASR BSI's milling capacity.
That's one of the biggest limitations we have been repeating from 2014. We have been repeating this from 2014, which is when we exceeded the capacity of the mill, and the farmers started to stay with overproduction in their fields. And as Mr. Alonso is saying, the investment being done in millions, yes, we appreciate that. But then it is not done in the areas where it is required that would solve the problem of this overproduction that we have right now. So then this poses a big bottleneck to the industry as a whole. That is something that we have mentioned to the government. Also, once more, we need an alternative to it. If we have always been saying that the mill is not investing where we can see that the production is being processed, then what is the sense of having big warehouses when the production is standing on the fields?
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Today, the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association and the BSI-ASR met to discuss a proposed new formula for payments to farmers for sugarcane. The proposal makes a change from the current formula, which divides 65% of earnings to farmers and 35% to the mill at net struck value. The new formula now seeks to divide earning at 60% for cane farmers and 40% to the mill from the total earnings. While BSCFA says they welcome the discussion, they say it is only one of the 5 proposals they have made for the new commercial agreement.
We have been experiencing a delay by BSI, who was in its reaction and responses to our calls for meetings, delaying it for several reasons. Among them, the fact that they wanted to see clear justifications for our proposals, even though in response to our initial letter, they had categorically stated that they would not negotiate any new core clause in the agreement. They have also used other excuses, such as the COVID-19 protocol requirements in terms of the numbers of persons who could gather together to conduct any meeting. Also in relation to requiring a test to be applied to the proposals that we had submitted for even to commence consideration of them. And also in terms of trying to reach a satisfactory venue for us to meet. But in any event, we have finally met today, and we have not been able to address the 5 proposals that we had put forward to them. And these 5 proposals have to do with how the price of the sugarcane is calculated, the current formula that is utilized under the current agreement. Also, the manner in which we are paid this price of cane. We also put forward a proposal to negotiate a better price for the bagasse that is used from our sugar cane to produce electricity that is sold to the Belize Electricity Company. And there's another new class that we are proposing to have included, which sought to bind BSI to mill 7,000 tons of cane in a period of 24 hours.
Along with a proposed change to the formula of payment, sugarcane farmers are also looking to negotiate the price they are being paid for bagasse, the waste product of the sugarcane used to produce electricity. CEO Alonso asserts that the mill has made in excess of $140 million on electricity sales to the national grid.
Even though we have seen that between 2009 to 2020, the Belcogen has sold 710 million kilowatts of electricity to BEL at over a value in excess of $146 million. Right? And based on the current agreement, they are paying us for that bagasse that they get from us a price. For the last crop, we got 42 cents based on the formula that is in the agreement, which we feel it does not reflect the reality of the revenues that are derived from the sale of electricity. Because that price is based on the price of sugar cane, and we have told them, yes, cane produces sugar, therefore that sugar can be paid based on the price of the sugar. But the bagasse produces electricity, and that should be paid based on the price of kilowatt hour that is sold from that from the electricity that's produced from that bagasse. So, and also when you compare it to what they have actually paid us under the formula between 2015 to 2020, we have only received a little over $3 million as payment for bagasse compared to the $146 million that they have been receiving from Belize Electricity Limited.
Because they do not anticipate a quick resolution to the current impasse between both parties, the cane farmers who met today are proposing an interim agreement for 1 year while negotiations continue. Association CEO Alonso says the government has committed to assisting them in resolving this dispute.
Our main concern this morning had to do with the need to have an agreement in place before the current agreement expires on the 19th of January. And we have said that it is possible to sign an interim agreement for 1 year if necessary, which would contain the existing terms of the current agreement and continue negotiating this agreement for it to take effect in the following crop. Because it would be impractical for us to finalize the negotiation, especially in view of the fact that BSI had deliberately delayed this process of negotiation. But they have more or less stuck to their guns that they are not prepared to sign a 7-year agreement, and we are hoping still, right, that the powers that be or whatever can ensure that we can sign this agreement for us to deliver our cane. At the moment, our members can't deliver their cane because there is an agreement in place. So if the crop starts next week, they can deliver their cane. What we need to ensure is that before the 19th comes, we have another agreement, if possible an interim one, to enable them to continue to deliver their cane during the crop.
Up next, in this week's COVID Chronicles, visually impaired students use the pandemic to hone their skills.
What is the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine? The Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine is an RNA vaccine that triggers our immune system to develop antibodies against the SARS-CoV-2 virus that causes COVID-19. It helps to reduce hospitalization, severity of the disease, and death. What is the Pfizer vaccine made of, and is it safe? The Pfizer vaccine is made up of mRNA messenger ribonucleic acid, which are molecules that carry the genetic information needed to make proteins, lipid, salts, and sugar. It is safe for persons 12 years and older and does not contain the COVID-19 virus, hence cannot cause infection. Tests have shown that the vaccine is effective against current virus variants. Who should take the Pfizer vaccine? The Pfizer vaccine should be taken by persons 12 years of age and older who do not have severe allergic reaction after a previous dose of vaccine or have not had severe allergic reaction to any ingredient of this vaccine. 2 doses of the vaccine are required 3 weeks apart. If you are between the ages of 12 and 17 years, you are required to present a signed consent form before you are vaccinated. What are the side effects of the Pfizer vaccine? Some common side effects of the Pfizer vaccine are headache, fatigue, muscle pain, fever, chills, and swelling at the injection site. If side effects persist, contact your doctor as soon as possible. Does the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine prevent infection and transmission? No, vaccination alone does not prevent infection and transmission. We are still required to continue to wear masks properly, physically distance, wash and sanitize hands often, practice proper coughing and sneezing hygiene, and avoid crowds.
Es un hecho. Únicamente con Smart obtienes todo realmente ilimitado. Solo con Smart obtienes datos ilimitados en cualquier momento. Mientras que con el otro proveedor solo son datos dobles los fines de semana. Con datos ilimitados todos los días no hay necesidad de esperar, así que es un hecho que nuestros planes ilimitados superan a la competencia. Por lo tanto, no permita que le digan cómo y cuándo usar sus datos y obtenga llamadas, mensajes de texto y datos ilimitados. Vive la verdadera experiencia de planes ilimitados con Smart. Es un hecho. Haga el cambio y viva Smart.
In this week's COVID Chronicles, reporter Marian Ali got the opportunity to interview some very inspiring young people who have taken the challenge of COVID-19 in stride, changing their learning strategies, or in one instance, even teaching others. While there are thousands of Belizean students in the same situation, these three stand out because they are all visually impaired. But as Marian found out, these students are pretty unstoppable in everything they do.
Dayan Arda is a 15-year-old sophomore of Belize High School. Born prematurely, he suffered retinopathy of prematurity, or ROP for short, soon after birth. It's an eye disease that occurs in premature babies and sometimes leads to blindness. Dayan started playing music at age 2. Now, at almost 16, he teaches the piano voluntarily in his free time.
Again, just to get you familiar, the right hand is, let me start from here, it's
His blindness does not impede his abilities, and neither has COVID.
I'm right now with my current 18-year-old blind student who I'm teaching the piano, very basic, she's doing so well.
But Dayan's mom, Tracy Arda, says the biggest challenge in these COVID times is tempering her son's reliance on his sense of touch with COVID safety measures, and in his case, stricter ones.
We had to have a long conversation over and over with him about then you won't be able to touch anyone or touch anything, and you'll get more assistance than you normally do during this time. So ask questions first, ask for direction, don't touch anyone, please don't touch anyone. Don't touch your face, don't touch your eyes. It was very important that he knew that very early on.
What blindness requires of students like Dayan is prepare them better for remote learning, which is a scenario that COVID has brought about. But the Belize Council for the Visually Impaired, BCVI, has been there providing the necessary tools to learn.
As they get older, which you would have found with some of the students that you met, we introduce laptops. So we provide a laptop for them that is equipped with text-to-speech software, so they're able to learn how to browse the internet, how to type up Word documents, how to send emails. And because we started this years ago, it has, in my opinion, helped with the transition to this online learning. Having that edge, having already been introduced to laptops or to technology, I think has really helped our students. And now it's just a matter of working to transition them back into school.
12-year-old Miracle Waite is a Standard 6 student of St. John Vianney Primary School. She too has been excelling despite the restrictions that COVID has posed.
Somebody would help me log into my class because I just learned to use a screen reader, so yeah. And then for exams, when I read out the questions, I give that answer and I type it in and then I submit it.
I understand that you are an excellent student.
I guess.
How do you manage to do that?
If you have a brain, then you could do anything. You don't really need to say.
Miracle is learning to do Braille. So a lot of her notes, although the teacher teaches online, a lot of it will have to be in Braille. So she has to learn to read back her notes, just like a regular sighted child. Or a recording, because a lot of the teachers send it video as well. But in regards to her, over the years coming in first, second, the lowest, or 1 year she had extreme eye nerve pain. She came in 5th, and that was the lowest she's ever, 6th, sorry, that was the lowest she ever came in. Miracle rises above challenges.
Also rising above the challenges in these COVID times is 16-year-old Damian Ferguson, another sophomore of EP York High School, While he is doing well in his remote learning, COVID did pose one challenge for him.
I learned by just listening. Well, for maths and so it's kind of hard because maths is more of a hands-on subject, so this pandemic messed that up.
But Damien has learned to use an app that simplified the problem. The BCVI is there to help them with that.
Our job is to make sure that children who are blind or severely visually impaired are given everything that they need to be able to function independently and to succeed in school. So we provide all their canes, we provide the talking calculators, we provide their Braille books.
While the learning for these students continues remotely, their parents will have another worry when schools reopen.
For most of it, he get it, but we still see here or there where he may forget. And his dad and I were like thinking about whether we should send him back to school when that became an option to go face to face. And, you know, when Belize came out with the vaccine, when it was approved for his age group, immediately, like, we have to get him on this and take the vaccine as quick as possible, because then he has a better chance, you know, and also be able to go back to school.
But until that day comes, they do what they do best from the comfort of their homes. Marian Ali for News 5.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.